So welcome back. So now we are going to do a program for this. So in this, if you remember the naive discussion or brute force discussion that I have done in the previous video. So what was that? We have to, for a given window size, we have to find out all the windows, and among those windows I have to find out the greatest number, right? So this is the brute force way. So here for every window I am going to loop k element and find the max, and this is I'm going to do for each and every window. So if you remember, time complexity for this was order of n square. For very large input, this is going to be very big number, so big iteration, so it is almost near to order of n square. Okay, so how this institution came? So actually, first thing, remember, we don't need all the elements, right? First thing, we only need useful candidate for the max. Okay, so what you're going to do, the idea is that we are going to maintain elements in a decreasing order, so that whenever I need, the front element will always hold the max. And for this we are going to use a very special data structure, that is Deque. Okay, why Deque? We know that it's Deque used to store the indices, right, not the values. So we need indices because indexes help us to track the window boundaries. Okay, and this is required when we are going to remove the element which is out of the windows. Okay, so let me create one class for that. Sliding window maximum. Okay, sliding window maximum, right? So what I'm going to do in this, I'm going to create one static method. So public static, and the result that is coming out from this program, that will be in one array. Remember that. Okay, int max sliding window, right? And this method is going to take two input. One is the array itself, and second one is the window size, that is int k. Okay, so now I am going to initialize the Deque actually. So Deque equal to, this Deque will be of integer type. First thing, let me write this also. Deque, that is equal to new array Deque. Okay, now I have to initialize one result array. So remember, if there are 5 element and window size is 2, so how many maximum number will be there? How many total window will be there? So there are 5 elements, so window will be 3, right? So how to find that? So we are going to do one mathematical operation for that. Let me write that. Int result, that is equal to new int, and the size I am going to pass, that is nothing but nums dot length minus k plus 1. Okay, so remember this, and of course index would be 0. I'm going to start my main for loop. So for int I equal to 0, I less than nums dot length, and I plus plus. Okay, is a simple loop. Now first I have to remove out of the window indexes, if any, right? So I'll add the condition if Deque is not empty. First thing, Deque dot is empty, is not empty. Okay, and Deque dot peak first, Deque dot peak first is not equal to I minus k. So this peak first is nothing but is going to return the index, and if that index is equal to the window size I minus k, it means your Deque is having the window size. So we have to poll the first element, right? So if this, then I have to do what? dp dot where it is Deque, yeah, Deque dot poll first. Okay, so I have removed this, the first element. Let me give, okay, so this is done. Once this is done, then I'm going to do the check the smaller element. Okay, so this will be again one for loop. So not for loop, while loop, while you have to do this operation until Deque become empty. Okay, so Deque dot is empty. If it is not empty, and nums, I mean we have to compare the last element with the current element, right? So if you remember, so nums, in nums I'm going to pass the index, that is Deque dot peak first, means element at the first place. If that element is less than nums I, the current element. Okay, if this is happening, okay, so Deque is not empty and nums dot Deque dot peak first is less than the num I, means num I is, current element is greater than. So if already have a greater element, then I'm going to remove the last element, right? Deque dot poll last. Okay, so if you want to know actually all the operations of this data structures Deque, so you can find it out on the internet also, but I will try to add a separate section based on the basic data structure, so that you can know, you should be aware while doing the program. Okay, what are the methods are there, otherwise you are going to write a separate code for this. It's very difficult. Okay, so now once these two operations are there, I'm going to add the current index, right? So Deque dot offer, this is the offer last. Okay, so I have to add in the last, so that is equal to I. Okay, till here it's okay. Once this is done, why it is showing error? Okay, so it was on one extra, I think. Yeah, so in this for loop we are going to now store the result. Okay, so how we are going to store the result? So for this I have to check on condition, that is if your I is greater than k minus 1, means if your I is already greater than the current window size. So window is valid only when size equal to k. So what I am going to do, if I is greater than or equal to k minus 1, then I am going to do something, right? Let me reformat. Okay, so if this is the case, then I am going to, I know that front of the Deque is the max element. Okay, so result, I'm going to add index plus plus, I mean first add the element, then increment the index, that is equal to nums Deque dot it will be peak first, right, and first element. Okay, correct. So I got the result also, right? So once this loop is over, I'm going to return the result now. Okay, so this is the whole program that I was talking about. Now let me create one main method for this to run this. So there are three steps in this, just I'm repeating. First you have to remove the out of window indexes. Second, remove the smaller element that we are doing here is removing the smaller element, and this is actually adding the current element in the Deque. And after that, if this if I is crossing the window size, then we are going to store the result as well. So these are the three main steps that we have to do in this. So let me write one main method for this now. Main method, I have to take the input first, so nums that is equal to let me write some numbers. So I am writing the same number 1 3 minus 1 minus 3 comma 5 comma 3 comma 7. Okay, and I'm going to take the int k that is equal to 3 by default, right? Now int result equal to, I'm calling the method, so max sliding window, I'm going to pass nums comma k. Okay, after that I'm going to, since it's array, so I'm going to use a for loop for each element. Int num equal to result, and in this I'm going to dot println num remove this num only, num plus space. Okay, so that it can print with some space. Okay, so let's run that, let's see. Okay, so it's giving me this output. So of course we have done while doing the dry run, so this was the same answer that we are expecting this, right? So we have got the output 335567, 335567, right? So 336 is not there, that's okay. I think in that example 6 was there. Okay, anyway, so this is the answer. So there could be multiple way to do this, but since we are learning this, we are focusing on this sliding window technique, so I solve this with that only. Okay, so just remember two things while doing this kind of program. Deque stores indexes, not the values, and front always hold the maximum, and this is the property that I have utilized here. Okay, and we are going to remove the expired element from the front and a smaller element from the back. Okay, so so this is the thing. So hope you enjoyed this program. Let's see you in the next one.